Good morning, parishioners and friends of St. Anne and St. Joseph's Church. We continue our daily scripture reflection. Today is Monday, October the 5th, and we have a very familiar parable in the Gospel of Luke today. It's the parable of the Good Samaritan, familiar to us and even to people who don't know the scripture, don't even go to church. And we can look at this parable from many angles, I think. I often find myself wondering, about the reasons for the behavior of the priest and the Levi. Both saw the victim, and because both crossed the road to avoid him, so they obviously knew what was happening. And each may have been worried, I think this way sometimes, that the attacker was still around, was still close by. Maybe they thought that the victim was faking to use it for his advantage. Who knows, maybe they were late for some important engagement. Maybe they thought they didn't have the skills to give the kind of help that he needed. Maybe because he was of a social or religious group with which the Jews did not associate on a regular basis. Who knows? But there's a bit of danger in this kind of speculation because we become only spectators of the parable, of the story, sitting, if you want, in judgment of the priest and the Levi, who, yes, acted insensitively. From my comfortable position, I suppose, I can justify, I can criticize, all the while keeping my distance so that the story doesn't really hit close to home. I get uncomfortable when I put myself in the shoes of the lawyer instead, who asked that important question, who is my neighbor? I have to admit it, when I ask that innocent question, what I really want to know is, well, what are the exceptions to this command? Okay, what are the limits? Who can I exclude? Who is in my group? Who is my neighbor? Who makes up the them group that I can ignore or despise? Sad thing, but we have to admit that, I think. When I look at the Samaritan instead, I see what a loving neighbor really means. It means coming close to someone in pain, someone who's frightened, someone who is alone. Putting another person ahead of my own self-interest, my own comfort, committing without determining the cost, without expecting to be repaid, and then returning in case there is something else that is needed. Treating the person from the outset as a neighbor to be loved without requiring reciprocity. There are neighbors who are in need of love and mercy, those who have been isolated from the community, those who have been beaten up economically, physically, emotionally, and the pandemic has intensified the pain for many people, okay? And so the challenge is this, is how to respond to the parable of the Good Shepherd. I can't withhold help until I am sure that I am not inconvenienced, or until I'm sure that the person is part of my group that I'm supposed to support. I need to offer aid, even if that person in need has been intolerant about faith, immigration, race relationships, whatever. If he doesn't thank me for the last time I helped him, doesn't make any difference. If you get the idea. It can be easy to say, I love God with all my heart, with all my soul, with all my strength, and I love my neighbor. It's easy to say, I know and I live the commandments. But the parable of Jesus gives us rather an idea of really what it means. Because then he says, now go and do likewise. That's our challenge for today. Thanks. God bless.